Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're not already subscribed, you should be. Also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of when I post new videos. So this video is about rebuilding a Gerber 3-valve tub and shower faucet. Very popular in my neck of the woods. I also see companies like Price Pfister, I see companies like Central, and I see companies like Sterling. But Gerber is pretty much the most popular one I run across. So whenever I do a rebuild like this, I like to use original replacement parts, but sometimes I just can't get a hold of them, so I will occasionally use aftermarket parts. This company, Kissler, did a really good job. I've used them in the past, haven't had any issues. So it's a great alternative to having to open up the wall and replace the entire shower body, if that's what you don't want to do. These rebuild kits work really well. I suggest that if you run across a job like this and you don't want to spend a lot of money by getting the plumber in to open up the wall and getting the tile guy in to fix the wall, you consider doing a complete rebuild. Check it out. I'll see you after the video. All right, this is the Gerber 3-valve tub and shower faucet. Still very popular in my neck of the woods. Also Central, also Price Pfister, also Sterling, whatever your pleasure. This is an old body, and it was in need of repair. I unfortunately didn't have original replacement parts, but I found an alternative that I've used in the past and they work pretty good. They're put out by a company called Kissler. They make aftermarket rebuild kits for a bunch of different brands. I've used them in the past. They work pretty well. And on the other side of the box, they have their Keep It Simple system. I don't know what that is, but it is relatively simple. So let's get into it. So upon trying to remove the screw from the handle, they virtually never come out. Occasionally I've been lucky. And when that happens, I get my channel lock pliers, I latch onto the handle, and you guessed it, folks, I break them right off. I just go straight down, they snap right off, relatively simple. And in this case, as you're going to see coming up, none of the screws came off. So I had to snap them off. And that's just par for the course. I mean, that happens quite often. And if they do come out, that's a plus. Next up, now we have to take those sleeves off, those chrome sleeves off, and often they don't come off because they're caulked, they're plastered, they're grouted. And in this case, you'll see here, this one came out relatively easily, but when I went to take the diverter out from the center, I grabbed that sleeve with a pair of pliers, and guess what? It wouldn't release, and it took the whole diverter stem right out of the wall. So you got to be careful. You got to make sure the water is off. You must shut the water. Don't play with these things without shutting the water. Over here, I had to chip a little bit around this particular stem in order for me to get my deep socket in there. And you're going to see the socket I use. Carry them with me. That's standard fare when you're doing stem replacements. And you'll see this after I got it removed. And it was in there pretty well, but at least I was able to get the sleeve off in this case. So next up, we are coming to all the old stuff. I was just dumping it down inside of the tub as I was moving along. And then once I got it all out, I actually just put it in the box. I gave it to the homeowner and said, here's your recyclables. You can put them out for trash. And now the next step is to get the new kit and proceed to putting it in. And the key to putting in a new kit or rebuilding a shower body is using a lot of silicone. But before we get there, these are my seat tools. These are the tools I use to remove the seats. These are the tools I use to install the new seats. And this is one of the old seats you can see here I removed, and that black tool is the one I use predominantly. Putting the new seat in, first things first, silicone grease, pipe joint compound, or Teflon. Most times I use just silicone grease. This is the brand I use. You can use any good quality silicone grease that I will leave linked up in the description below. You must grease everything. I grease the threads on all the stems. This is a must, in my opinion. I grease everything up. I literally take the stems apart. I put grease. I take the packing nuts out, put stem grease in there, put the packing nuts back, tighten them up, get them nice and snug. I put grease ahead of that green washer there, so everything goes in nicely. I also put grease on those male threads of the stem, but in this case, I think I forgot. Anyway, so I put everything back in there, and I'm working the handles in and out, tightening the packing nuts as I'm going. And as you can see here, I put the grease inside the sleeve because I think I forgot to put them on the male threads of the stem. but I would recommend putting them on the male threads. The screws that go into the escutcheons that hold the escutcheons around the sleeves, make sure they're greased up because it'll be that much easier to get them out. And this is basically the job after it's all done, after everything's put back together. I noticed that this customer had a ratty shower head. I didn't like the way it was spewing out. So I recommended replacing the shower head with a nice massage shower head by Wolverine Brass, by the way. And finally, there's the finished product. Everything turned out great. They were happy. I was happy. How about you guys? You happy? So listen, one more thing, guys. Before you put those handles back on, put silicone grease on the end of the stems. Put silicone grease inside the handles. Put them on. Put those screws in. You don't have to go crazy whacking them up. The grease is just going to ensure that those handles will be able to be removed should the need arise sometime in the future. So what did you think, guys? Are you guys rebuilding faucet these days, or do you just do one stem or the other? I used to do just one, the coal's leaking or the hot's leaking, and I used to do one stem at a time. And ultimately, they would call me back, I think the hot's leaking now. The showers, things, you know what? I do a complete rebuild. When I get a call in for a 3-valve body, it's either a complete rebuild or a complete replacement. I don't do a la carte repairs on 3-valve shower bodies. What do you guys do? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you all for stopping by. As always, I appreciate you watching my videos. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. But the most important thing you can do is hit the like button, because if you don't hit that like button, YouTube shows these videos to nobody. So guys, keep an eye out for a couple of videos that may pop up. One of them I chose, one of them YouTube chose. I look forward to seeing you guys as always in the next one. Stay well, and as always guys, happy plumbing.